Hello everyone, this is V-Man, and today we got a bunch of new Splatoon related news, and I just wanted to go over all of it in a video because I like reacting to stuff and telling people about my reactions. So, first I obviously have to start with the new spin-off game, Splatoon Raiders. We didn't get to see a lot of it, but it looks pretty dang cool. I don't know exactly what it will be. I'm kind of guessing it will be similar to either one of the normal single-player campaigns, such as Return of the Mammalians, or it might even be something a little different. Maybe something like Pikmin, where you get crash landed somewhere and you need to repair everything before you can leave. Either way, I'm sure it'll be good. I've been begging for a Splatoon spin-off for so long, and I'm glad we're finally getting one. I was hoping for an RPG myself, but I'll take anything, and it just looks cool. So yeah, that's the big one. But beyond that, we also got a new patch with a bunch of new weapons. And the first batch is just starting to roll out on Twitter, and I will be looking at those pretty quick. But first, I want to give my thoughts on just everything else that they talked about so far. So first of all, Barazushi and Emberz. I guess there's the look of the weapons. I think it's pretty cool how there's like a split between how they look. You got the more dull colors of the Barazushi set over here, and you've got the neon colors of the Emberz set on this side. It's nice that there's two different sets instead of just one big set of them that just look all the same. That was kind of a problem with the Kensa collection in Splatoon 2, because with so many Kensa weapons, especially since a lot of them were really powerful in the meta, it just kind of blended together. So it's good that we have a decent amount of them that are different looking. It's two smaller batches. Beyond that, I'll get into my thoughts on the individual weapons as the kits get revealed, but I am glad that a lot of the weapons I actually care about did get additional kits. A lot of them are in the Emberz set, actually. I have another Splatana Stamper. That's probably my second favorite weapon after the Octobrush, which is also here. You can't go wrong with the Splatter Shot. You can't go wrong with the Splat Dualies. So there's just a lot of weapons here there for me, so I can't complain, unless the kits suck, but again, we'll get to that. Otherwise, there's also the new 10-star freshness. I actually kind of hate this, to be honest, because I always thought that 5 stars was already quite a bit of a commitment, and I know for people who play a lot of the game, they probably could already get 10-star freshness on a lot of their weapons, but I only have 5 stars on one weapon, and that's the Octobrush. I mean, I have 4 stars on a decent amount of other weapons, and I'm a little close to 5 stars on 1 or 2 of them. But overall, it's just, yeah, it's a lot to ask. And they attached badges to it too, and I'm not gonna lie, the new badges look pretty cool if I could find where it is. You can see one right here. It looks cool. I'm gonna be intimidated by anyone who has 3 of these on their splash tag, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get one, even on my main. What else did they say? They have series weapon power for any individual weapon. I think this is pretty cool, because it no longer discourages people from choosing whatever weapon they want. Because right now, if I was to go into series, and if I was to pick something other than a weapon that I'm comfortable with, I would almost certainly lose, because it would just match me based on how good I am with the weapons that I'm the most good with. But now it takes that into account, so it'll give me a little bit of slack if I'm facing off people while I'm using a weapon I'm less comfortable with, basically. And that applies to everyone. So I think that's a good change, as long as it's implemented well. But of course, there's the big one, and it's Urchin Underpass. And, I mean, Urchin Underpass was never my favorite stage in the original game, but it's a classic. It's it's kind of a crime that it hasn't been on the Switch in any capacity outside of Mario Kart until now, and I'm glad that it's back. I'm really interested to see how good it will be as far as like tournaments, like if people will actually want to use this stage in brackets and whatnot. I'm sure it'll be used somewhere, but we'll see. If nothing else, it's another probably good stage being added to the rotation, so nothing to complain about there. There's also the enhanced visuals for like the lobby and stuff. I don't think this will really make too big of a difference, but it'll be nice. So yeah. Anyway, I think that concludes this part of the first impressions, so I'm going to get into the kits. Alright, I'm on Twitter, and as far as I can tell, they're still rolling out the posts about the weapons, so I might need to pause and refresh when I get to the top, but I'm just going to start from the earliest one they posted and work my way up. So the first one here is the Splash-O-Matic Gecko. Ooh, I noticed like there's the whole frosty like border thing. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it's frost or it's, you know what I mean. It's a high durability weapon made from rainforest environments coming from Barazushi. I don't care about that, most of that stuff. Control your opponents with Toxic Mist and Ink Storm. Oh dear. Yeah, this is not going to see a lot of use, I don't think. The other two kits are significantly better in basically every way. I mean, the original Splash-O-Matic needs no introduction, what with crab meta back in the day. Of course, it's been nerfed to some degree since then, but it's still a really solid weapon that sees a lot of use. And the Neo Splash also sees a lot of use just because of how much raw paint it can put out. But this, it's basically just inferior in terms of both the sub and the special. So, yeah, it's cool that we're getting another one, but no Zipcaster Splash. Need I say more? The Carbon Roller Angel, or Angle, I don't know which one it is a weapon made to withstand the pressure of deep water, which is ironic. Coming from Barazushi, bait and hook your opponents with the Fizzy Bomb and Super Chump. So it got the Bamboo Mark II kit. And I realistically can't see this being any better than the one that's used for the Carbon Deco, because that basically just has the perfect kit. I mean, there was really nothing they could do, but I think Fizzy Chump is a pretty good way of differentiating it. I mean, Fizzy is a pretty good combo tool, especially considering Carbon is pretty susceptible to fall-off damage, so it can help it secure those kills. And Super Chump just helps it move around and stuff, so I could see this having some use somewhere or other, especially if it's relatively cheap for Super Chump. So yeah, I think this is a good kit. Next, the Dapple Doolies. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Nocti? That's probably wrong. Whatever. The new Dapple Doolies are a weapon built for agility and flexibility. Adapt to combat at any range with its Splat Bomb and Killer Whale. Okay. So, at least it got a bomb. I can give it that. Because I know Dapples are notorious for always having bad kits. Because in Splatoon 2, they would have the first two kits didn't have good bombs, like they didn't have good subs. And then when it finally got a good sub in Splatoon 2 with the clear kit, it got stuck with Splashdown, which was arguably the worst special in the game. And Splatoon 3 hasn't been much kinder until they uber buffed Reef Slider, and now it's actually good just by force. This could work, I suppose, but I don't know if Killer Whale is exactly what you would want on the Dapple Doolies. I'm sure someone will use it, though. Like, I'm sure it'll see some use somewhere, but I bet a lot of people who are diehard Dapple fans aren't the most pleased with this kit. And I'm at the top, so I'll need to refresh the page again. I might need to come back later. They seem to be posting these every 5 minutes, so I might give it another 15. Oh, it just refreshed. Never mind. The paintbrush Burns is a weapon made from newly researched materials. Establish your dominance with Splash Wall and Trizooka. Oh. Ooh, is that an MRE stuck to it? On the other side. I think that's an MRE. That's actually hilarious. Okay, there it is. It loaded. Yeah, that's actually funny. But what's not funny is Splash Wall. Not because it's bad, but like, I just don't like Splash Wall. Like, I just don't find it fun to use or fight. So this is just annoying. The Zuka is cool, I suppose. I was hoping that one of the two brushes would get Zuka. Honestly, I was more so hoping the Octobrush would get it, but this is fine. Would I say that this is the best of the 3 paintbrush kits? Pretty good chance, I'd say. I guess it just depends on how well it can use that Splash Wall, because I think Zuka is probably the best special it's gotten, other than maybe the missiles, but it's also stuck with Point Sensor, and I'd say Splash Wall is better than Point Sensor, at least for this weapon, so it works. The real problem is that the main is still a little undertuned. That wind-up is really hard to work around, and maybe it'll get buffed again. Probably not. But if it doesn't, I still feel like this will probably be the best of its kits. Alright, another 5 minutes, another kit. I'm gonna try to speed these up, otherwise this is gonna take forever. The Tri-Slosher Ashen is a weapon made with newly researched materials. Battles strategically with the splat bombs and splatter color screen. Okay, so immediately it has a good sub, at least better than the Toxic Mist. It's got another MRE attached to it too, so that gives it bonus points. It has screen though. I don't really know how good that's gonna be with Tri-Slosher. I can't see it being useless, other than just the fact that screen isn't particularly good in general. If screen gets buffed, I could see this maybe being useful, especially if it's relatively cheap, because the Nouveau kit is stuck at 210. But realistically, even then, I think the Nouveau kit is just better. Like, if you want a Tri-Slosher, you're probably going to pick Nouveau. If you want Splat Bombs, there's a myriad of other weapons you can choose. And you don't want Screen, but if you did, you'd probably choose Squeezer, or maybe something else like 52. So, yeah, it might be a niche somewhere, but not anything super exciting. Sorry, Tri-Slosher players, except, no, I'm not sorry. Alright, I've waited a little bit longer, and now there's another 3 kits. So, next up is the Splatana Wiper Rust, a weapon made of newly researched materials, because Rust is new. Shatter the opponent's defenses with curling bombs and a Trizooka. Okay, I'm noticing that a lot of these kits are repeats, and is this a repeat kit? I don't think it is, but this is the first one, and overall, I think this is a fairly good kit. I don't know how badly Wiper needs Curling Bomb, though. It's not like it's bad for it. I mean, it can use it, I suppose. Zuka, I think, is the bigger winner here, because its other 2 kits, one is Stamp, and that's not exactly the most powerful, even with the buffs that it's gotten over time. And the other one has Missiles, which is fine, but I don't know if that's exactly what Wiper wants. Plus it has Beacon, which really isn't what Wiper wants. I think this is actually a fairly well synergistic kit that also has some power to back it up. So I could see this one getting some good use. I like this kit. 8 out of 10, I guess. I'm not going to rate all these, but I thought that was funny. Next up, the Splattershot Pro Frozen is a weapon made for cold weather use, coming from Barazushi. Adapt to any challenging situation with Splat Bomb and Tenta Missiles. We got a Tenta Missile shooter, yay! I mean, at least it's only pro, like it's not a painter like Splash or even Shot. So I think this will probably be okay. This is kind of interesting, though. I'm wondering how good this is going to be. I mean, Pro hasn't historically been the most meta-defining weapon. It's gotten a little more use recently because of the Booyah Bomb buff, but that's the Forge kit. This is a different kit. And I think really the question is the desire for a shooter with missiles strong enough for people to want to use Pro? And the answer is, decent chance. I'm sure it'll be used somewhere. I keep saying that, but I mean, that's kind of what you want, right? Because if it doesn't get used at all, then it's a waste of time. But if it gets used a lot, then it's just going to over-centralize the meta. So I think this is a fairly good kit. I like it, even if missiles probably should have never been put in this game in the first place. But that's an entirely different topic. And then next up, the Splat Charger Camo, a weapon made for forest environments. They really like these survivalist ones. That must be their thing. I never really looked into the brand lore. But anyway, secure your turf and hold the line with the Sprinkler and Crab Tank. Sprinkler is kind of a whatever sub for Charger, and just in general. I mean, I guess if anything had to get Sprinkler, Charger isn't the worst thing for it, because it's not exactly the most paint-efficient weapon. And again, Chargers don't really care that badly about their sub. So it's really about the Crab Tank, and I think this could actually be a decent user of it too. It's not like a Splash situation where it can switch between being an aggressive frontline and an anchor on the fly because of its special, but this is more so just a different take on the anchor role because it's just going from a powerful distance one-shot to huge area control with paint and a large amount of DPS. So it'll probably be good. I don't know if it'll be better than the ZNF kit, but I mean, if people like running an anchor that's not Snipe Rider, then I could see this one being used somewhere or other. Alright, up next we have the Rapid Blaster Pro WNTR Winter. There it is. It's a weapon made for extreme cold, makes sense. Bring the heat with suction bombs and then cool things down with the Tacticooler. Rapid is the cooler weapon. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. I mean, yeah, I think this could actually really work because cooler, a lot of the weapons that people really like using cooler on are kind of more anchors or pseudo anchors, which is why you see a lot of Snipe Rider and Heavy Edit for cooler and not a lot of things like Zap or Try. So I think this kind of fits that role pretty well. And suction, I don't know how well that works with this weapon specifically, but I do know that suction's pretty good. So, I mean, Rapid Pro is already used a decent amount with the blue one, even though that one has dart. And if a weapon can have dart and still be used quite a bit, then I think this one can be used too. So this might actually legitimately be a staple weapon for the meta now, which I think would be really cool. I don't really have much else to say. I think it'll be a fun, cooler weapon to use and fight. It'll add some good diversity, and yeah, no complaints. Next up, we have the Jet Squelcher Cobra. Okay. It's a hunter-inspired weapon coming from Barazushi. Get aggressive on the battlefield with Burst Bomb and a triple splashdown. Okay. This isn't exactly the weapon I expected to get triple splashdown. It's got Burst Bomb again. That's cool. And it's got another aggressive special. It's kind of similar to the kit from Splatoon 1 with Burst Bomb Kraken, but I feel like it would have just been better if we actually gave this one Kraken. I think this would have been a pretty cool reference kit. And I don't think triple splashdown will be entirely useless on it, but I definitely don't see it being the exact special that anyone who plays Jet Squelcher has been clamoring for. But considering the first one has Dart and Vacuum, and the other one is a little better, but it has Mist, and Storm is just kind of okay. But it works for Jet Squelcher at least. I feel like this kit could be used because I think the parts individually are better. I just don't know if the sum of the parts beats out the custom kit. Next up, the Mini Splatling Rattler is a weapon with a deep jungle aesthetic, and dish out some punishment with the Squid Beacon and Trizuka. They really like these Trizukas. Isn't this like the third one? whatever. Anyway, no, it's got Zuka. That means that it will automatically not be bad, but no one's gonna use this over the Zinc kit, because even though the Zinc kit it's got Mist, which isn't as good as the Disruptor from the Splatoon 1 days, the combination of the main and the special is just so good that I don't really think that this one's going to catch on. And it's not like the Mist is terrible for it either, because it still serves a similar purpose to what made the Zimmy in Splatoon 1 so strong. But this one doesn't really have that. So overall, I don't think this one's going to see a lot of use, unfortunately. Alright, only 3 more to go in this set. Next up is the H3 Nozzlenose Viper, a Predator-inspired weapon. Make your opponents dance with Suction Bomb and Triple Ink Strike. It feels like there's a lot of bombs with this. Also, I haven't been commenting on the looks as much, but ooh, this one looks cool. It's got the snakeskin look. But anyway, Suction Tri-Strike. Yeah, I think this works for it. I mean, at the end of the day, it is still an H3, and they don't see a lot of use, even with the H3D kit being basically a 1-to-1 from the really meta-defining Cherry H3 from the first game. So, I mean, this one, I don't really see how it could compete with the Ten-Attack Splattershot and the Neo Splash-O-Matic. So this is yet another shooter with a Lethal Bomb and Triple Ink Strike, but I feel like this is just going to be the least good of the 3. So I don't really see this one being picked either, unfortunately. Next, the Reflux 450 Milk. Weird name, but okay. The weapon with limited edition colors. Expose your opponents to punishment with Torpedo and Booyah Bomb. Ooh, this could be good. Torpedo, I think, considering the 2 hits of a Reflux shot do 90, those Torpedo little blob things are gonna really help combo this. It's gonna combo with the main weapon really well. And Booyah Bomb is just a really good special in general. I don't know how well it would work with this one specifically, but it can't go too far wrong. I think this one could definitely see some use. Maybe this will be the first Reflux kit to really see some competitive use outside of Turf War. I might even go so far as to say that. I am a little disappointed that it didn't get Zipcaster, considering it got that full charge speed in the air buff at some point, but you can't have them all, I guess. Hopefully we do get a good Zipcaster weapon in one of these batches. Anyway, next up, the Tentabrella Cream is a weapon with limited edition colors. Again, corner your opponents by mixing Toxic Mist and Super Chump. So this is definitely a very supportive kit. I don't really know how well Toxic Mist will work with this thing, considering Toxic Mist is one of the worst subs in this game, but I think it could work decently okay with this one, just because you trap them, and then you can just one-shot them because it's a tent. You also get the Super Chump, which gives even more tanking distraction value along with the shield, and I think it could maybe see... who am I kidding? It's competing with the Sorella Tentabrella, and that one has... Or, no, it's the Tenta Sorella Brella. No, I had it right the first time. That always confuses me. Anyway, the Toxic Mist Super Chump, it's not going to compete with having the Zuka on the Sorella kit, so yeah, I don't think this one's going to see a lot of use either. So overall for this set, I think it's been a fairly even mix of okay, pretty good, and never going to be used. So about what you would expect from a batch of kits. It's definitely better than nothing, although I'm hoping that the Emberz collection steps up a little bit more. But that'll be for not right now, because it's going to be a while before those kits get posted, so I'll be back when they do. Alright, it is now much later, so that means that the entirety of the Emberz collection has been revealed, but I haven't looked at any of it yet, so I guess now is the perfect time to look at all of it, and hopefully there are some good ones in here. This is the collection I really care about, because it has a few weapons that I really love to play. So, let's get started. First, the Glamour Splattershot. The Glamour Splattershot is a weapon built with holographic materials. Get everyone's attention with Burst Bomb and Kraken. I was kind of thinking that this would get a repeat of the vanilla Splattershot kit from Splatoon 2 and get triple splashdown, because we don't really have a short-range triple splashdown weapon, especially one like this yet, but I guess that's true for Kraken as well. This will be interesting to see. I'm sure it'll be at least decent. I mean, both Splattershot kits are, so I'm sure that this one will see some good use, and I'll definitely play this one from time to time, at least casually. The Gleam's Blaster is a weapon, holographic material. Aim to impress with the Squid Beacon and Crab Tank. This is a very different kit for this weapon. It's much different than the ones that it already has. So, I think it might... I'm sure someone will use it, but I think it's one of those, if you want a Crab Tank, you'd probably prefer to use the Splash-O-Matic or maybe even the new Splat Charger from the other collection. It might be used just because it's a decent beacon weapon, though. That's really the best I can say for it. The Colors Arrow Spray is a weapon, holographic material. I'm just going to skip that part. Ink up your opponent's eyes with burst bombs and splatter color screen. Okay, so this is an arrow spray, so it's automatically not going to be very good unless if you're in Turf War. And at that point, you'd probably just prefer to play the gold kit. And even then, why would someone want screen on an arrow spray? At least it looks cool, I guess, but that's pretty much all I think this one has going for it. The Claws 96 Scowl is a wilderness-inspired weapon. Catch your prey with Angle Shooter and Cooler. Oh no. Of course, we get a second new Cooler weapon, and it's stuck with this. I mean, I guess it combos, but that's not saying a lot. Yeah, I don't see why someone would use this. I mean, it is a cooler weapon, but that doesn't automatically mean that something's going to be used. I mean, look at H3. It's got a unique design, but honestly, I don't even like that. Sorry, 96 players. Unless if I'm completely wrong and this thing is actually cracked and I'm just not smart enough to see it. Oh, this is going to be Prochara's weapon if it's good. The Horns Dread Ringer is a wilderness-inspired weapon. Return fire on your opponents with Curling Bomb and Crab Tank. Oh. Okay, so I think this is just kind of the best Dread kit by default. I don't know how good Curling Bomb is for it, but I don't think it'll have trouble using it just because of how ink efficient the weapon is. And it does give it a little bit better mobility and I guess kinda, sorta, not really a distance poking tool. But the real star here is the Crab Tank. That'll give it even more paint, even more distance pressure, even more AoE, and that's just gonna make it a much more appealing option. So if the vanilla Dread can see good use, then I don't see why this one can't. This is possibly the best kit that we've seen in this collection so far, so hopefully it keeps up. The Hooves Dually Squelchers. Yeah, the wilderness inspired. They look like zebras, which is kind of funny because they should be extinct, but whatever. Get the drop on your opponents with Point Sensor and Screen. Another screen weapon. I think this one could work. I don't know how well it would be power-wise, just because the sub and special aren't that strong. But the Dually Squelchers do see a decent amount of use, and I think this could be a decent alternative to them, especially since this would save a shot on the from the main weapon because of the screen. And the point sensor would really help with that, especially since it can see through the screen with the point sensor. We'll have to see. This one I really don't know how strong it'll be. Oh, this is one I really care about. The Sticker Splatana Stamper, specialty weapon, or specially wrapped, coming from Emberz. Get bombastic with the Auto Bomb and Booyah Bomb. Well, first off, it has some really harsh competition given that the other kit is the vanilla Splatana Stamper. But if anything was going to give it competition, I think this one has a pretty good shot, especially if the points for special are relatively low. I could definitely see myself using this, at least in just series. This seems really fun, actually. I'm totally willing to give this a shot. It's going to be weird to play this weapon without a burst bomb because I don't play the Nouveau kit that much. But this is definitely a good one. I'm willing to see how well this turns out. The Torrent's Hydra Splatling, specially wrapped. Dominate with a Sprinkler and Big Bubbler. Okay, so this is going to be a very defense-oriented, more self-sufficient. It's got the Sprinkler, so it can paint a little better and kind of guard itself a little. And it's got the Big Bubbler to really help guard it, give some jumps to teammates, stuff like that. I don't know if this will be better than the vanilla kit, but even if it is, it's still a Hydra, and they don't see a lot of use just because the meta doesn't favor them that much. I'm sure someone will use this. Like, if there's a diehard Hydra player that really likes one of the current kits, I could see them flexing to this at the very least, if not maining this one instead. But I don't think this will shake up the meta too much or anything. Okay, next up. The Patterns Undercover Brella, specially wrapped. Get flashy in battle with Curling Bomb and Killer Whale. So this is not the grand return of Kunder from the first, or no, not the first game, from Splatoon 2 that everyone was looking for, probably. I was really expecting this one to get cooler because it had armor in Splatoon 2. I mean, already this one has a pretty uphill battle to face because it's an undercover Brella, so even with the best kit it could get, it probably still wouldn't see a lot of use, but I just don't really see how well this kit could work with it. The Curling Bomb is more so a mobility tool, which I guess doesn't hurt, but it's not exactly what this weapon's begging for. And Killer Whale could combo with 2 regular hits, if it does at least 20 damage, but realistically Whale could combo with anything with enough damage. I don't see it. It looks pretty cool, though. I'll give it that. The Twinkles Splat Dualies. Nostalgic design. I don't know what's nostalgic about it, but okay. Stay flexible in any situation with Fizzy Bombs and Big Bubbler. Oh no, we didn't get the Inkjet Dualies. That's a shame. But as far as what we did get, I guess the Fizzy's cool. It gives it another mobility tool similar to the Curling Bomb, which is already on the Emberz kit. I don't know how much it'll want Big Bubbler, though, because Dualies like moving around a lot, and Big Bubbler makes things stay in place. So, kind of confusing. I kind of have to say that this is probably the weakest of the 3 Splat Dualie kits, especially compared to the original, which has the suction and the crab tank. It at least gives another Big Bubbler option, so that's cool. The Planet's Big Swig Roller. Deliver some excitement with the Torpedo and Triple Splashdown. Okay, so first off, Torpedo, I know there was the whole sub-marker line debate thing between this and, I think it was Curling. But Torpedo's definitely the better option for this weapon. Helps it combo, stuff like that, locate opponents. The Triple Splashdown's cool, too. I think that'll make it just have a little bit more of a presence. Like if it gets rushed down and it can't one-shot someone quickly, it could just use the Triple Splashdown. This is definitely the best Big Swig kit because the other 2 kind of got screwed over by one thing or another. But is it enough to bring the Big Swig up to relevance? Maybe, actually. It might have a map mode niche, or there might be some dedicated one trick for this thing, but it's still a Big Swig Roller. Alright, what's next? Still waiting on that Octobrush. The Glitters L3 Nozzle Nose. Get into an offensive mindset with Splat Bombs and Inkjet. Wait, am I tripping? I thought this thing already had Inkjet. Oh wait, I'm thinking of Rapid. I mean, it looks kind of similar to Rapid, but Yeah, this... I can see it. I mean, Splat Bomb, you can't go too far wrong with that. And Inkjet, we kind of need more Inkjet weapons, especially in the shooter category. I don't remember there being another Inkjet shooter so far. So, other than the Anaki Nova, which is a Nova, so... I think this one might see some use. I say that a lot, which is good, but yeah, that's really the main thing I had to say. It might see some use, especially if you want an Inkjet weapon that's on a more aggressive main, so that's what you get here. Alright, not many left to go now, so what's next? Ooh, we got the Comet's Octobrush. Please be good. It's a bright and shining weapon. Make your victory wish come true with auto bombs and Kraken Royale. This could be interesting. I was kind of really hoping that the next Octobrush kit would have been something with a good long-range pressure special like Zuka. But I think Kraken is a pretty good alternative to that as well. And auto bombs have historically been decent on the Octobrush because of the kit in Splatoon 2. I could definitely see myself using this as an alternative to the regular Octobrush kit, especially if I'm not feeling like playing Zipcaster at the moment. This will definitely give it more of a, like, in-your-face, like, right where it is sort of deal, instead of trying to go for the backlines quite as much. I guess this one lets it go for backlines in a different way because the Kraken can just force itself in. Overall, pretty good. I'm definitely going to use this for at least a decent amount of matches. Good job. The Bulbs Tri-Stringer, bright and shining. Box your opponents into a corner with the Angle Shooter and Inkjet. First off, Inkjet on this thing. Pretty cool, I guess. It actually got a pretty good aggressive special. That's good. Other thing, though, it has Dart. So, Curse of Dart. Sorry, bow players. You just can't catch a break, can you? I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing ever, because it can kind of combo, because I'm pretty sure the arrows do, what is it, 35? They either do 35 or 40, so this can help finish off when you hit 2 of the arrows. So that's good. But at the end of the day, it's stuck with Dart. That hasn't stopped everything with Dart, though, because the Rapid Pro that got it was still pretty relevant for a while, although I feel like it's going to get pretty quickly replaced by the new one from the other collection. So maybe you have a chance, especially if you're dedicated to the bow. I think this one probably has the most playmaking potential of the bows, so if you really know what you're doing, you can probably make this one work. And the last one, the Stars Dynamo Roller. Catch your opponents with the point sensor and Killer Whale 5.1. I don't see it. I mean, yeah, I don't see it. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's got the blue and orange thing going on. I like that. Okay, yeah, that's it. Alright, and that covers all of the new main weapons, or all the new kits. So, next I'm going to be moving on to the patch notes. See if there's any balance changes or other fun things in there. Alright, here's the patch notes. Latest update, version 10.0.0, releasing tonight. Added the following features, new game content. Basically, things just look better, run smoother, stuff like that, higher resolution stuff. It's nice, but it's not really what I care about right now. I guess they also made it so that on the original Switch, some things are removed so that it can run better to try to match the Switch 2, which I think is kind of funny. I did see this earlier, but that's really all I noticed, so this is where I start seeing new stuff. Added a new stage, Urchin Underpass, added 30 new weapons, which I already talked about. Alright, specifications for some main weapons have changed. S-Blast, increase the amount of ink consumed by 11%, and increase the amount of time between firing and becoming able to act by 1/20th of a second, so 3 frames. I know S-Blast, specifically the 91 kit, has been seeing a decent amount of use. This is a pretty substantial nerf, so I feel like this is gonna really bring it down a peg, unless if there's something else later in the patch that kind of helps even it out. I'm sure it'll still get some use, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people who currently play S-Blast switch to range or something. Specifications for sub-weapons have changed. Toxic Mist, it's cheaper, and increase the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering. So it's a bit of a rework. It's cheaper, but once you throw it, it takes 5 more frames to start recovering ink. I mean, I guess that'll make it better. It's still going to be weak, though, just because it's not really doing a lot. After all, why would you make sure someone's slowed down and lose their ink when you could just use like a splat bomb or something and kill them? Yeah, it won't do nothing. I'm sure some weapon like, heck, I don't even know what has this off the top of my head, but something will benefit from this, I'm sure. Not a lot, but somewhat. Alright, specifications for some special weapons have changed. Tri-Strike, damage dealt to crab tank armor increased. Booyah Bomb, damage dealt to crab tank armor increased. Wave Breaker. Okay, I guess I'll mention these first. This is basically just a crab nerf, but also kind of a weird one, because these were already pretty good against crabs, so seems weird. But I guess crab was fairly strong, so why not? Wavebreaker, increased durability, and decreased damage taken from ink flung by opponent Splatanas. This is kind of something that Wavebreaker's really needed, because it's already super easy to break. And so having more durability in general is going to be nice. But the main thing was the Splatanas, because just 2 charge slashes from a Splatana Stamper, even from a distance, was enough to break this thing. And only 1 was needed if you had Object Shredder. So yeah, if your opponent had a Splatana, then your Wavebreaker kind of just died. So now the Wavebreaker is actually going to stay in place for a while. And I think that's definitely going to help it a lot. Is it going to be enough to bring it up above bottom 5 for specials? Probably not, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. Alright, next up, the crab tank itself. Reduced damage dealt by a direct cannon shot from 60 to 50. With this change, the damage dealt simultaneously by a direct cannon shot and the explosion is reduced from 90 to 80. Yeah, I'm fine with this. It's kind of weird that they waited until now to do this. They must really hate crab tanks specifically. But it's fine. I'm kind of annoyed by crab tanks, so if we see less of it, then I consider that a win. That's really all the main changes as far as balances go. So I think I'm just going to pause here and then read the rest of it and see if there's anything worth commenting on. Okay, I went through and read all this, and the main things that I care about are that Anarchy Battle Open gives a bunch more experience now, which I think is a good thing because it barely moved the needle before, and this definitely helps a lot. And there's also, in addition to the freshness 6 to 10 star badges, which they didn't say how much freshness you need to get them, there's also a badge for how many weapons you have to at least 4 stars, which I guess is pretty cool. I like this one, actually. But now there's also the actual developer notes, and this is going to be something that I really want to read and react to live. So, as a bonus update, implying that this wasn't part of the original plan for some reason, in this update we added weapons in a stage, increased the maximum freshness, implemented a series weapon feature for Anarchy Battle series, added a call sign feature to X Battles, and performed optimization operations for Nintendo Switch 2. For Anarchy Battle series, we implemented a new series weapon feature targeted towards players rank S or higher, which I think is pretty cool. With this feature, the series weapon power will be measured for each weapon currently equipped. We already knew this. We implemented the feature in hopes that players will enjoy battling using a variety of weapons, including the Splatlands collection. Additionally, we made balance changes. For the S-Blast, we have made adjustments to give players fighting against them more room to counter because, for opponents' point of view, there seem to be no openings at any distance, which I think is fair enough. For the Crab Tank, we lowered the maximum damage of the cannon to decrease the frequency that the person being attacked is defeated without any opportunity to evade. Fair enough. We also made it easy for other special weapons to fight against the Crab Tank. For Toxic Mist, we have reduced the amount of ink consumed to make it easier to fight in combination with main weapons. On the other hand, we have simultaneously extended the time before ink begins to recover so that this change does not lead to tactics where players simply continuously throw their sub-weapons. That explains it. I think that's a good change. The next update will focus on multiplayer balance based on analysis of changes to the situation that comes with these weapon additions. Yeah, overall, they didn't change a lot up here, at least, but I think the things that they did change make sense, even if I think this might be a little bit overkill, especially in addition to this part right here. But it's fine. I think this will only really help the meta, especially with the Wave Breaker. It's enough to make it usable without people wanting to run more than one, which is where this thing really gets annoying. So yeah, I'm going to run through the bug fixes off screen, and if there's anything interesting there, I'll cover it. And if not, I will wait until the patch drops not too long from now, and I will try to play at least one match on Urchin Underpass to see how it feels. Here we are. Patch 10.0. Woohoo! Here we go, my beloved. Comet's Octobrush. Okay, I had some technical difficulties I needed to sort out, so hopefully that's gonna not be a problem anymore. Ah, yes. Now I'm back where I was. The Comet's Octobrush. Release the Kraken. Royale. It's a dang good thing I've been saving these Sheldon licenses. The non-believers have been punished. Come to me, my beloved. There we go. Alright, Urchin Underpass is back. Let's hope that I can actually get through a full match. Oh, come on. Yes, got him. Can I get another? Heck yeah. Another one down. Oh, how did that not splat? What the heck? I like how everyone in this lobby is using one of the new weapons, except that one guy who just has to play the 52 gal. I just find that kind of funny. Come on, come on. Value. Just keep going. That's pretty good, I'll take it. Go! Frick. Uh-oh. Oh, that sucks. Well, we can't win them all, I guess. Let's try a tower control match now. Alright, and this is the other map. Never mind. Alright, to conclude with my overall thoughts. The new weapons, they're definitely the highlight for me, at least right now. And I'd say for the most part, they seem pretty good. I'm especially excited for this Octobrush and the Splatana Stamper that both seem to be very strong. But I'm sure a lot of other people will have different weapons that they'll like to see, and there aren't too many stinkers in this patch. Urchin Underpass seems really cool, and of course they did announce the new spin-off game, and that looks really exciting, even if that's not going to be out for a while most likely. Overall, this week has been a great time to be a Splatoon fan, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store. With all that said, my name is V-Man, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.